So yeah, I'm basically going to try to do a jump run guide for like super beginners. It's focused on warlocks, of course, since I'm a warlock, and I don't do it as anyone else. I will teach you, Mako. So whatever. So yeah, basically you can do this as a lot of specs in as a warlock. I'm personally just going to do the farm-oriented Shadow Mastery Demonic Sacrifice spec, but you can do it as DS Ruin, you can do it as SM Ruin, so use Shadow Mastery and Ruin if you want to do this as a Raiding Warlock. It's just super safe and really nice to start off with, and if you want to do jump runs without even being able to die most of the time. Everything is damage of time focused, like improved Curse of Agony, that you might not have if you are raiding as SM Ruin. These points doesn't really matter, maybe besides the improved Void Walker for the improved sacrifice, of course. Having the fast summon sacrifice Void Walker. Oh fuck, it cuts off? Maybe I need to be closer. Huh. Let's try this. I should have a noise gate on the mic, but yeah. All in all, it's a very normal spec. Curse of Exhaustion, I've just forgotten to put this one on the bar because I don't have any room anymore. That's about it. You basically want damage over time stuff. Life tap is nice. Siphon Life is a must. Shadow Mastery, and then you go down to Demonic Sacrifice. I personally like to really like to run with the sacrificed Void Walker, because due to the Demonic Sacrifice bonus where it restores 3% of your health every 4 seconds, right? Yeah, 4 seconds. Basically that means that on my character it's 116, 115 healing over time, more or less, all the time, which is super helpful. You can life tap a lot and it just heals up instantly. As for gear, you kind of want as much spell power as possible. I'm running 0% hit. Fuck, that was more... Shut up. Yeah, you kind of... Spell hit doesn't really matter because the enemies in here are so low level that you just hit them anyway. So just going for maximum shadow spell power, just to increase the damage over time abilities, are the best way of doing this, in my opinion. Crit doesn't really matter because you cast like 5 shadow balls over the course of the entire run and all that. I run Talisman, which is a really nice one because it just adds damage. It's a really nice for Curse of Doom, for example, 175 more damage. Like most of the damage over time has like a damage effectiveness of about 100%, so it's just more damage. You just need to remember that you don't clip it. So if you use a talisman, cast all your dots. All those dots must fade before you recast them, otherwise you lose the bonus. Yep, I have some good parts. I have some stamina parts. I have 3.8k life in this spec and gear, which is, you don't need that much at all, but it's pretty nice. The first thing, and then I guess we can enter and look at stuff. Everything in Dire Maul is has set spawn points, which means that when I run in here, I will see a squirrel pass by me, and then there's a tree to the left. See the squirrel here. If I have not reset. I'm fucking Pepega. So yeah, you can also tell that you've forgotten to reset when you do that. So yeah, now we should see the squirrel running past. Here it is. squirrel, and then you have a tree. And then my jump off point is here. You look for this, like, this little thing, and you just run. You take like 100 less damage if you land here compared to landing here, or 200 more damage if you land there. Doesn't matter. As for flowers, I'm herbalist mining of this character, so you have a dream foil here and the Groun's Blood here. Groun's Blood is in this pack. You can summon the Void Walker to get it, but I don't think it's time efficient. And that dream foil is guarded by the Death Flash. So these two are bad spawns. You also want to keep track of all these. Like, if you just jump and run, you will always run past this pack. I'm doing it slowly because, like, trying to explain. And if you just run the same way every time, you get used to it. Like, when you get up to this point, you will have this first group coming, and then after like 10 seconds, the second group will load. So you can wait back here, wait for them to move away, and you have time to pick one flower here. Because when you move here, you should see the other groups spawn here, especially if you run up to the dream foil node that's up here. And then they are in sync. So if you can pick one flower, run back, wait for them to leave, and then go out and pick the other flower that can spawn out here as well. All good. Be careful of this pack, because you have limited line of sight. Oh good, this one spawned. This flower can be hard to pick. It's always a dream foil. You will most likely trigger this pod, and this Whiplasher can move in a way that he aggroes. If you want to be really safe, you summon Void Walker to be ready to pick them up. Otherwise, you can just jump up on the stone, see if... Okay, trigger the also Whiplasher. There's nothing in that, it's fine. If it's one of the other outcomes, it's fine. It can be either Whiplashers, it can be Entangling Roots, which is fine, or it could be the Poison Cloud, which you just wait for it to move. Wait for it to fade before moving in. Getting 4 Whiplashers, like, just have a Siphon Life on all of them, and you will most likely just outreach in their damage. They can drop a what they're called, the Essence or whatever of Nature. I can't remember the name. But yeah, you want to be really close here. You just edge in, and you should be able to get this one most of the time. And you just jump out. If you get the Death Flash, you're dead, more or less. You can banish it. Should probably show. I can show there's a really easy to get reset point. Like, I can show it. You want to have this guy about here. He's super good. He patrols. He gives you soul shards, and if you fear him in this place, he doesn't pull any of these guys. You only need to be really careful when fearing him. If he runs in the other direction, like into the other satyrs who will pull. Like he's standing inside this Whiplasher pack here, and he won't pull, it's fine. You can control him with Curse of Recklessness, so if he runs the wrong direction, just wreck him, Curse of Recklessness him, and he will run back to you, and whenever he gets close to you, you just put a new agony on him. And you can just control him like this. It's a really nice way of controlling these Shadow Stalkers. It costs a fair bit of mana, but it's not too much, like 300 per application of each of them. If you don't have soul shards, you can stock up here. They also drop Fellcloth and Demonic Runes, which is nice, and it's 20 silver from that guy alone. Also drops Runecloth. There's a potential spawn here. There's also a Ghost Mushroom that can spawn over here. Should probably have a bit more life. Mana, I mean. Just try to face him all the time, so he doesn't because these guys backstab, so you don't want to have your back towards them. you get Shadow Trance, wait a bit, because it will most likely interrupt your fear. As any high damage source that usually does. I got 3 Shadow Trances on this guy, what the hell. And that's it, like, now we're up to the first boss. If you can also, like, if you want to gather the falling seeds, which are not bad to get, like this pod is one of the better it takes. You just move towards it. And if you get whiplashers, they spawn over here. This one's a real one. If you are somehow a dwarf warlock, you can see which ones that are correct. But yeah, these falling seeds are pretty good for imps or whatnot. Like if you accidentally pull the imps on Hydra spawn, if you want to take down one of the Lasher packs, like these are actually pretty good. They just take a long while to actually grow. Like if I just drop it here, it needs to grow again, then grow a third time. Then this is this effect is taunting. I think it at least makes a lot of threat. The falling has 1200 lives. It dies pretty fast, but it can tank imps for a while or the weaker enemies. Hydra spawn. This is the worst boss according to me. You want the pulley you want is kind of like this, move into the pillar, and he moves like that, then you move down. If he moves the other way, it's fine. Like it's just different. You just need to like look for the different what pathing he takes towards you. You want to be visible for as much as possible, so he stops to cast. And the pathing you want to take is that he moves down, and now you jump up, and then he just strolls up there, and you move down, and he walks all the way over there, all the way around, and now you go up. If you take too long, he might do that, so you need to be fast. Like if he moves too close to you before moving up, he might it might be rough. Then you just do the same thing we did on the pool, where you just move into the pillar, and it's fine. What you really want to be sure of is the hydrolings when they spawn. This is the hardest part as a Shadow Master Warlock, because you want to have, like, these bounce back and forth, but they're about twice as fast as Hydro spawn. So you can usually just... oh fuck. There we go. Show the fuck up pretty well. But yeah, like if you have Shadow Burn, you just Shadow Burn one, Death Coil the other. Nothing more than that. It's super basic. If you don't have Shadow Burn, you have to Death Coil one, and then you simply Corruption, Siphon Life the other. It will die within like 2 takes of each, so 3 or 4 seconds. The only thing that you really need to be careful of is that the Hydrolings might pull the imps, which is really, really bad. Because the imps, they have a chance of bricking the instance, more or less. Or bricking Hydro spawn. Because whenever they you can reset them quite easily, but whenever they reset, they run to different positions. Like having the imps standing over here after they've been reset, so to say, is not uncommon at all. You want to have the Hydrolings spawn. You can get the Essence of Water, which is nice. You want the Hydrolings to spawn when it's about here. When that's like the make or break situation. The Hydrolings always spawn at 50%. So when it's at 51, you just do like you jump back and forth like this to just keep him there. And also watch out for the candles. If you land on top of them, like if you jump up and somehow lands on top of them and you just move to the right, you get really close to the fell lash, and that feels bad. But yeah, so basically you have to practice this like this jump, and when to jump, and how to make sure that you make sure that you know how to reset them if you fail. And like learning the hydrolinks, how to handle them, will take a while, because that's like you need to get them in the right spot, in the right time, target them. Like if you tap target, you might get the imps. So you just tap target one, click your death coil, target the other, corruption, siphon life, and then back to keeping hydro spawn in check. The hydrolinks will never kill you. They do like very little damage, but they will push you around and interrupt you, and will make the hydro spawn kill you. Sometimes, we're gonna move on. Sometimes there's a spawn here of a satyr. If there is, you simply enslave it, because in this tunnel there's always a satyr. Enslave the one that spawns over here, take him in here, and make him fight this guy. They have a slowing poison, which is rough. We got another shadow trance. If that could happen on boss sometime, it would be really fucking fun. If they another shadow trance, okay, I'll take it. This is a really bad place of getting him. You want to run into this guy as far up as possible, because same as last time, he will pull any other satyr and imp, so you want him hereabouts, and then you just control him back and forth with recklessness. Yeah, now he's run back, get an agony on him, he runs away again. And this is where the fell stamina comes into real use. Like, it's super nice to have all this like regen. Okay, Severim. This guy has two abilities that you need to be careful of. The first one is the lethal one, which is Sacrifice, which basically, if he manages to cast it on you, you will get put here, stunned for 6 seconds or something like that. And he also has a damage over time, which is just intense pain. Everything is shadow damage, so Shadow Ward is actually a really good ability here. You can also do this boss in two different ways. Like, you either I will do him up here because I like doing this place more, but you can also pull him here, jump down to the right here, and then just kite him back and forth in the same way as high responding. So you just pull him here, I think you jump down here, try to land on the lip here, and he will travel all the way down, emerge out of here. And the fell lash won't pull either, because elementals and demons do not share, like, they don't like each other, so they don't pull. But you can do him down there as well if you like that jump, that kiting spot better. But basically, up here, you move here, just to the right of him. You try, like, if you have any talismans or whatever, you try to get as much things on him as possible. So, like Shadow Bolt, Immolate, Curse of Doom, then you start doubling up. And you will want him to run back and forth like that, just taking damage. So what I use is these stones and these line. These are my, like, the mental note I use where to run between. And then whenever you need to redot, you run out to like halfway out here and place the damage over times. There is one bad thing about this. I'm going to attempt to show it. I might die, but it will be fun. Let's do this just in case. So if you stand in here too long, he will take that pathing. And you have to run out here and reset him. That's really fucking dangerous. So you want to stop him before he gets to the rock. And then you just run back and forth like this. You get the shadow trance, run out, boom. If you are ruin spec'd in some way, you have a 1.5 second cast immolate, of course. So you can run out and get an immolate in it. But you have to be really careful because his sacrifice has a cast time of 1.5 seconds, I think. I think they're like, you have to be like really fast at and seeing when he casts, which looks like it's just a shadow effect. So if we run out to see if we can cast it, that's intense pain. But yeah, it's the same deal. So see if we can get him to cast it. Come on, Severin. There we go. I almost got caught there. You have to be really careful. When he's slow, just slap him. If you have enough life, and if you have like you can, if you keep Shadow Ward up, if you have like my life, like 3.8k life. Ooh, a status bow. That's 3.5 gold, 3.3 gold. Like if you have enough life, Shadow Ward up, a Hellstone ready, and mana to cast Death Coil, you can survive a sacrifice up here. I've done it like once or twice. So you get if you have Shadow Ward, you get sacrificed. He will move you up here, and then you just spam. Hope that he doesn't crit you or anything. If he misses your attack, you probably survive. But yeah, just spam Death Coil, pop a Hellstone and running back, and just get to this point because he will try to do the weird pathing for that. If he starts moving towards here, when I did the reset, he will move this direction. He will move through the pillar and then you sacrifice you. So you have to be like, if you let him go to the rock and around it, whatever, like you have to run out to about here and be ready to run back in if he starts sacrifice, but you need to get him to about here. Around here, then you can run back and he will start pathing back and forth again. It takes some time, and as said, if some people like pulling him down to Hydra spawn better, I personally don't, and it also takes a little bit more time, I suppose. Yeah, now we can start running back. I should also show the reset point if you get really fucked from a Hydra spawn or something. Like if you see that the imps pull, you can start running instantly and get to a really easy to get reset point. These pillars sometimes works as reset points, but like they're oftentimes close to these patrols, which is, I mean, you will just pull them and you can brick the instance by pulling them in a way where they reset within range to pull against. They just stand there and look at you forever. You have to kill that squirrel, otherwise you fail. Yeah, there's... I think you can go like this route. Oh yeah, you have to watch out for this pod. So it's better to go around this way. And even if they are there, you jump up and go here. This is a really easy to get reset point. You just run up on the stone, jump, let go of the keyboard, and you get stuck here. Jump once more, and then press W in the air. Forward. That's a super good reset spot. If you accidentally pull something. There's also a few herb spawns. There's a herb spawn by the Warpwood pod here, so about, there's a Gorm's Blood point here. You don't want to get too close to that one, because if that entangling roots you, and these guys are coming towards you, you're fucked. So be really careful to not pull the pod over there. There's also in here, there is a dream foil over here that can spawn. And there is a ground flood over here, which you can actually take by just moving here and just imagine it being about here. You can take a few more flowers. We have a few, the two, there's like 3 nodes that you can't take without summoning Warlock, Voidwalker, or being like, you have to fight to get them. Like you can get every flower in here if you just like banish the Fell Lash, pick the flower, run to the reset spot, but that takes a lot of time. I usually skip it. We're now coming up to Alcyn, and there's some things that we need to go through with this one. I'm really bad at this fight, generally, which is why I'm the spec, because I can be bad. Alcyn himself moves between this point. It moves back and forth. If you do jump down on the pillar and then just jump down, just walk back like this, you will never pull him. He can stand by this flower, you can jump down, land here, and he won't pull. It's fine. If he's in the middle, I would recommend at the start actually let him do one of his like rotations like this. So like let him do this, take the time, let him and all that, because you kind of want to open up with this strong burst of spells. So yeah, it's pretty simple, this part. Alcyn, he has, what is it? Demon form, wolf form, and tree form. It's not, I haven't forgotten one, right? No. The demon form is the worst by far. You want him in either wolf form or tree form for as long as possible. In his demon form, he casts Wither. He casts Enervate. Wither is a 900 damage-ish nature damage disease. So he can cast it while moving, which is really, really weird. So he just moves towards you, casts Wither, 900 damage, and then you get the damage over time ability for 20 seconds on you. The damage for time isn't too bad. The 900 damage is pretty bad if you're in a poor spot. The Enervate will put a poison on you, which removes mana every second. You can use poison resistance to remove that one, and there's also the first aid stuff. I'm not first aid, so I don't have that. In this spec with this amount of stats, I can take about 3 Withers and 2 Enervates, and I can still beat him. Have a Healthstone ready in case you do, because you really shouldn't. And like there is a kiting strategy to try to keep him out of sight, because these pillars do line of sight him. So if he starts cast Wither and then moves behind a pillar, he won't finish the cast. The tree form is super simple. He has a Wild Growth and a Knockback. You don't care about any of them. Wild Growth is too bad. You will lose like 10 seconds of the fight. And the knockback, he should never reach you anyway, so it's fine. The wolf form has a slow, and he deals a lot of more damage. Getting the slow is of course really bad, because being slow is bad. Who would have thought on a fight where you kite? And when he reaches 50%, the wall over here will break open and imps will like spawn and run out. These imps will aggro you in the entire room. The entire room and all the enemies in the room will actually aggro if those imps aggro. You can stand up here and look down, and the imps will aggro you, but they can't path to you, so you can just reset them. So it's real, like when they spawn, it's like you just have to find a way of getting out of sight. And they do they still work on size. So if you're standing back here when the imps are in the middle, you won't aggro. But yeah, it's really rough. And the goal of this fight is to get him to 50% and then reset and then run in. The few races has a few ways of doing this. Like undeads and gnomes can actually jump up here, but human females can't. I think human males might be able to, like, or there's a few of them. But yeah, just as high respawn, you want him. You want we can start a fight. You want Elsin to be in a specific position. And there you go. The first wither. Sometimes he casts 3 in this time. You want Elsin to be in a specific position. There's another wither. Like sometimes he just does this, and you just have to live with it. You want him to be like when he hits 50%, you want him to be down here. I got hit by this. Turns out it's not that easy to actually do a boss and talk at the same time. Oh, it actually Maggle deals damage. Oh, should probably do that. You want to be in this position whenever the imps spawn, because then you get to wait for as long as possible before you actually have to run. I guess the tree. I didn't know that Maggle actually dealt damage over time, but here we are. Yeah, so if you use health stones correctly. There is a way of running where you try to keeping at max range while in this form as long as possible. It's 55% now. We should be pretty on the dot. Like if we just do that, we can take this hit. Oh, it disarms. There we go, that's perfect. If it's a tree form, it's fine. He'll most likely just knock you up to this point. So now you see everything coming. And you just wait a bit until just before they reach you. You might take an arcane bolt, it's fine. You just don't want a wither at this point. And then you start spamming your invisibility potion. At this point in the room, you are completely safe. The imps will never reach you here and all that. If they might lock looking at you here. Sometimes they see you through the invisibility. Sometimes they just don't want to drop combat. And if they do, they will just lock you in a combat state at the corner there, and you can just soulstone yourself and run in. Die in here, wait a bit, and then resurrect. And now you have your 3 arcane crystals. And a lot of this is just kiting in some ways. Like you need to know the kite positions, and like on Alcin you just move on. You need to learn on Alcin to jump from the stone, because it has some weird geometry, so it's pretty hard to get at times. But with some practice, everyone can really do. And this was a horrible run. Sweet. This guy become half a hour long, yeah, I guess it did. But yeah, and now you just do it faster and faster and faster.